According to Investopedia, 90% of startups fail. You may be asking, if the success rate is that low, why founders of startups keep on fighting, knowing that the rate of success is very, very marginal? The answer is simple. They believe in themselves and the product and services they deliver. Your follow-up question could be, okay, I understand these inventors and entrepreneurs. Yes, they have vision. They are resilient. They believe in themselves. But what I don't understand is that why sophisticated investors invest in startups knowing that 1 out of their 10 investments gonna succeed. The answer is simple math. Like the founders think that they are among the 10%, these investors, they think that out of the 10 investments that they have, 1 of them could scale and become a unicorn. And they believe that that's worth taking the risk. And of course, these investors, they don't just go out and invest here and there. No, they do their homework. They are sophisticated. They have their own checklist. They're going to invest on startups they believe can scale and succeed. Whenever startup founders approach me and ask me to help them raise capital from angel investors and venture capitalists, I ask them some questions. And depending on their answers, I may discourage them to go out and raise capital from external investors. I'm honest with them. I tell them that this is no time for you to go out and raise capital from external investors. Of course, I get pushback. They tell me that, look, we used our own money and we are now broke. If we don't get influx of capital at this point, we're going to go broke and the startup could die. I completely understand the pressure they are in, and I tell them the truth. I share with them the 3 scenarios that could happen. The first one could be many of the investors may say no. The second scenario, some of them, they could say yes, but they may need a chunk of your shares, and you need your shares next when you need a lot of capital to scale, so you don't want to give a lot of shares. The third and the worst, they may say yes, but they want to buy you out, and you don't want that to happen. At this point, you may be asking, okay, what are the requirements for startups to go out and raise capital? There are many, many requirements. I'm going to share with you just 3 elements that should be in place before startups go out and seek external investors. The first one is pitch deck. There are 3 components of a pitch deck. 1, content. 2nd, flow. 3rd, delivery. Today, I'm not going to talk about the content and the flow part, even if they are very, very important. Let me focus on the delivery part. You may already know that public speaking is very, very scary for a lot of people. Many people are scared of public speaking compared to snakes, spiders, small places and dark places, and so on and so forth. When it comes to pitching, it's an advanced form of public speaking. You are facing with a skeptic audience. Why? Because they have seen lots of people like you standing in front of them, wanting them to invest in them. So they are skeptic. They don't just open their pocket and invest in you. And you have seconds to catch their attention. They're very busy and they're very experienced. And if you don't hook them immediately, what happens? You lose them. And here is the truth. If you lose them once, you may never get them back. That's why the first impression is very, very important. Now, when you go out to pitch, there are a couple of a skill set that you need, a combination of skill sets. First one is, of course, public speaking. Second one is human psychology. You have to understand how humans make decisions. You have to raise their interest, create sense of urgency, a scarcity, and then close them. Closing requires you to understand how branding, marketing, and sales works. The second component is documentations. Investors want to make sure that everything is documented. They may be asking in their head, God forbid, what happens if a bus hits the founder? They want to make sure that everything is documented. And there are some important documentations that should be in place before a startup goes out to raise capital. I'm going to share with you just 3 of them. The first one is impartition document. This document should explain first the problem statement. What kind of problems are you trying to solve? What kind of needs are you trying to meet? What kind of gaps are you trying to bridge? I should also explain about the mission, motto, vision, core values, target groups, and so on and so forth. The second document is a business plan. You should have a business plan that demonstrates how this business functions and become profitable, for example, in the next 3 years. The third one, strategic plan. What are your strategies in medium and long term, 5 to 10 years, to make sure that this startup succeeds and scales? The third element is a team. Like I said before, investors, they care about whether the startup is independent of the founder or the founders. Another layer, they want to make sure that it's independent of the founder is a team that functions like a well-oiled machine. They want to see diversity in the team. Sometimes I see startups, they only have 1 team member, 1 founder, or maybe 2, and they're a couple. Investors want to see diverse team members. They want to see individuals who have specialty, for example, in finance, in IT, operation, human resources, and technology. In conclusion, 90% of startups fail. Regardless, there are investors who are interested to invest in startups. But these investors, they have a checklist. And it's important for startups to make sure that they meet many of these checkpoints before they go out and raise capital from external investors. In this video, I shared with you only 3 important checklists. And the first one was pitch. Not just a component and the flow of the pitch deck. You can get a lot of designers who can create for you killer pitch deck. The most important part is the delivery part. The second element is documentation. And the third one is a team that functions like a well-oiled machine. To learn more about what we do, go to the description and get some detailed information. And also, don't hesitate to reach out. We can have a free one-on-one discussion to understand your needs and see how we may help you. Thank you very much for watching.